I am Travis Wayne Goodsell. I was born and raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am he who prophesied of the calendar date and clock time of the death of former President Russell Marion Nelson. Section 42 of the Doctrine and Covenants, verse 59. Thou shalt take the words which thou hast received, which have been given unto thee in my scriptures, for a law, to be my law, to govern the church. Over these 9 years, when I made the change of the genre of my YouTube channel with over 8.9K videos, I have only taught the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith in the context of the Bible and the records of the Jews. Section 107, verse 91 and 92. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church and to have the keys of the Jewish Christ, the man like Moses. Behold, here is wisdom, yea, to be a seer, a revelator, a translator of Paleo, Hebrew, and Egyptian, and a prophet, having all the gifts of God, which he bestows upon the head of the church. Just because you had hands laid on your head, just because you claim the titles, doesn't mean you have the gifts and the powers of these gifts. You have to practice them. And the way to test any such person who comes forward to claim these gifts is to use the test in Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 15. This should have been done for those who claim to be the head of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their consequences of the words. Did their prophecy come to pass? Did the calendar date and clock time happen for their prediction of the future? Do men gather grapes of thorns, or figs, or thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth forth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire of the day that shall burn as an oven. Armageddon. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know a true prophet or a false prophet. By my fruits I have proven myself. It is either your fault for choosing not to click on my videos over all these years, or it is the YouTube Mormon employee down in Utah County's fault for purposely not showing you my video to click on. Rather than searching for what you want to watch, to search the scriptures, to learn of the truth. You chose wrong. 2 Nephi, chapter 24, from the book of Jesus, the great prophet. In the Hebrew, verse 4 will start. And it shall come to pass in that day that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon. Babylon wasn't even a city or a nation yet, if this is literal history. It was written by the Qumran community Jews. And say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepters of the rulers. He's talking about Armageddon. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and also the cedars of Lebanon, saying, it's where the Tower of Babel was. Since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming on the 7th of October, 2025. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. The noise of thy vials is not heard. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations, to gather them against Israel for Armageddon? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like Emmanuel, the sun god at noonday. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and shall consider thee and say, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Notice man, not a spirit entity who is denied a body on earth. That did shake kingdoms and made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the houses of his prisoners. Hey, that's you, Mormons. All the kings of the nations, yea, all of them lie in glory, every one of them in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and the remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain the Mormons. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Continues on. I think that is sufficient. Today is the first day of the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles. It was the supermoon, the fourth Egyptian hieroglyphic bread loaf that I saw in my dream on the 10th of August, 2025. Had to update it when I found out it was a supermoon. Yep. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're so close. So close. Then the flood dream that I had 9 days later. Here comes the flood, Mormons. I called the flood on the first day of conference. That was me. That's why it happened. Mars aborts the death of Nelson. Nelson then fit his place in line with every single president, so-called, of Brigham Young's branch off, called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the curse of Joseph Smith, as the solar and lunar eclipses under which Nelson fell put him in his place. After Thomas S. Monson's 10:01 p.m. likewise death, according to the prophet of the Lamb of, or the prophet of, or the apostle of the Lamb named John, from the Book of Mormon, which is the Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 4. Everything is about Mormons. And so now it's Oaks' turn. He can't run and hide by refusing to be the president of the church. He too is next. The signs in the heavens and the likeness of things on the earth. Oh, I put it up twice. Oops. So, as the first day of Tabernacles, the moon now is passing over the parted waters of Pisces with 3 falling stars falling from heaven. On the second day, the 8th, which is the 15th, or today's the 15th, be the 16th. 7s and 8s are involved in all this, by the way. But that's just for me, because of dreams I had about the transfer of authority coming up. The supermoon has begun to pass over the parted waters. Remember, man like Moses, the Jewish Christ. This is the Jewish holy day of tabernacles, the other Exodus, or the other Passover. Same thing. And so tomorrow it passes over and is there at the sacrificial ram-lamb constellation. And then the day after that at the tail. Tomorrow at the head, the next day at the tail. Next day after that, in Taurus, the Apis bull for the transfer of authority. The day after that at the horns, between the horns, it's technically above the horns. Planets and sun go through the horns. This time the moon goes over them. And then the separation of the wheat from the tares, the sheep from the goats, the chaff from the wheat, the righteous from the wicked, the Mormons who searched and hearkened to their Christ, and the Mormons who rejected and denied it, and denied him. And then we're done at Jupiter, the Christ, in the sign in the heavens, in the likeness of things on the earth. Time is running out. Time is running out. I do have two other videos somewhat planned. One is the typical back to the Trump ice 2025 video to give you heads up warning of what's coming. People have not taken that seriously. And then the church sex scandals. I went and made a list. I didn't have a big enough paper for all of it. We'll see what I can get done today.